it will
Ka
have to go
jingalang
up,
jang ka kin hun menteri
because
kabala
of
long
the
menta
impact
ka
of the
si ka
decision
khandriu
of the ad
tarik
hoc and
ukilla
SSC
lingkot
teachers,
kala
there
shem
will be
ye
some
ki rai ba
financial
kongsan
impact
ka
on
bay
the
dei bat
granting
ka
aid.
puli puthi
That's the reason
ka
why we
jing
have
pen
also told
banana ka
everybody that
benta
it will be
ka
applicable
Meghalaya
from
di
April,
award
because we have
bat
told them
ha
to
ka
include
bay
it in the
dei ba
budget.
kiwei.
So yes, it will, and
Menteri
of
rang
course
ba
right now I'm
ulaong
not
baka jingya thu halor ka
I
jing
cannot
khmi
share
binia halor ka
numbers with you
state
right now, though I
reservation
have the numbers
policy
in my
kaban
mind,
sawan
but
ra shakador
it will
bar
not be appropriate.
assembly ha ka
Once
budget
everything
session
has been done,
nadu ka
paperwork is
khandriu
complete,
hadu ka
at the
arpunyo
appropriate
tarik
time we will share.
ramphang
But amount
hadin
of
ba yo jing minjer
the
na
physical
ulat ka jela
education that's there, we are
ka
putting a
cabinet kala
50%
menjeru ya ka
component of
community
skill training to be
integrated skill
introduced.
learning
And this
na
skill
ka
training
benta
is
ki
very
khna
unique
class
because
6 hadu ten
the
ha ka
society,
basan
the
pho percent
community,
ki
the
jingyo ma
parents,
kan
the
long na ka
the
jingyo
family
jingtep
members
ka ba ki yo
will be
na
the
ki
people
kam
who will be
yeng ni ka
training
shnang ka
these
sarkar
children.
kala
So there's
pliru
no
ya ki
really,
lat na ka
a
benta ki
curriculum for
samla
it.
bala drop
So the
out
mother will
lani
teach
ba
the
klem
son
la
or the
ban
daughter,
pass ban yo
to
register
maybe
kum ki private candidate
grow
na benta ka
different vegetables,
SSLC
how it's
exam
grown,
po
or
ka
to
embooks
rear different birds, or
ka
to
cabinet
rear
kala pen banai ke Meghalaya di
fish,
award
or
arja arpunrio
farm
ha
fish.
ka ba
So
Dr.
it's really
KS Longkandri
a very
Father Binoy
community
Joseph
based skill
Badrio
program,
Langdhar
where the
kinyo e ke
community, the
jingerap
parents, the
jingero ha
families
ki
will be
benta ba
involved in
pher
skilling their child,
ka
teaching
sarkar
them
kala
maybe the
menjeru
family
iki
traditions,
service
the
rules
family
jong ka
skills,
border
the family
area development department
work that they
bat
were
kala
doing,
penjlan
and
jing
pass on
shakri
that
jong
knowledge to
katu
their
ka ni
children,
ki
and that will
officer
become a
barang ba
part of the
na
curriculum
benta
in
ka
terms
jingyat
of
be
the
jing ki
marks that
project
will be given to the children. So that's
halor
very
ki train
unique and very
teachers
innovative
menteri
program
rang
that
ba
we do.
ulaong ba ka sarkar ka kloy
Right.
ban khmi biang ki case henry kan up ya ka jing menjer na ukashari Ukonrat ki sangma ulaong ru ba ka cabinet retreat ka long kala jong ka jingetri lang jing kitanat sarkar na benta ka jingroi jong ka jilla
Examination under the Meghalaya Board of School Education. As you are aware, there are a large number of students who in the past could not clear the metric exam, and there are a large number also who end up dropping out post the upper primary when they enter the secondary level because of different factors. So we have realized that this large number, even though they desire to come back and give the exam again, they are not able to give it because of different provisions that restrict them from giving that a particular exam. What we have decided in the cabinet today is to streamline and to ensure that we make it easy for any candidate who wishes to give the SSLC exam to pass class 10, even though he or she may have failed in the previous years, or for whatever reason could not continue with the schooling post class 8. We want to give that option to them, and this I'm sure will encourage many such youngsters who, for whatever circumstance, were not able to clear their metric exam. They would be looking forward to be given an opportunity to do that. And this particular provision today and this particular decision will allow those children to give that particular exam and clear the metric exam. We also had the Republic Day speech that was there today. We have cleared the speech, which is going to be, of course, read out by the Honorable Governor in Shillong and by respective cabinet ministers and other dignitaries in different parts of the state. We have also decided, these are more administrative, smaller issues. So there was an extension of service of one of the superintending engineers in the Directorate of Urban Affairs for 3 months. So the services of Shri Kiwei has been extended for 3 months, and this is necessitated because of the large number of projects today that is taking place, and it would affect the overall functioning of the projects and the work that's going on. And keeping that in mind, we have extended his services by 3 months. Also, we have decided to re-engage and extend the services in terms of the officer on special duty and ex-officio secretary for the government of Meghalaya in the planning department in the Meghalaya Age Limited. So Shri Robert Lingdo is a retired official of the planning department. We have decided to extend his services there in MAL. Similarly, the extension of services for Mr. Bruce P. Mara, who was a former retired chief engineer, his work also as advisor in the Meghalaya Integrated Transport Project, which is a World Bank project, has also been approved today. We also would like to share that the government and the cabinet today has decided on the Meghalaya Day Awards 2026. So the Utturat Singh Award for Arts and Literature has been decided for Dr. K.S. Nonkanri, for the Pathogan N. Sangma Award for Social Services. The name of Father Binoy Joseph has been approved by the cabinet. And for U Kyong Nangba Award for Sports and Games, Srimati Riolang Dhar. Her name has been proposed and approved by the cabinet today. So these were the major decisions that were approved by the cabinet in terms of the formal items. In terms of the informal item, we had a discussion on the aspect of the report on the reservation policy, and we have decided that the assembly session, which again is another news which I would like to inform all of you, that we have proposed to the governor that the assembly session be started from the mid of February, exact date about February 16th if I'm not wrong, and the calendar, but February 16th, the Monday, and up to February 27th. So we have proposed to the governor. We are waiting for the governor, of course, to call the sitting of the assembly for the budget session. So once the governor approves and gives the orders, it will be formalized. But we have proposed, and based on that proposal, the cabinet has also decided that it is most appropriate that we'll be placing the report of the committee during the budget session of 2026. So those were the decisions that were made. I have a cabinet retreat to the third cabinet retreat, and as has always been practiced, before the cabinet retreat, we have a cabinet meeting. Today in the cabinet meeting, there were 9 formal items that were taken up. The first item was the service rules for the Meghalaya Border Area Development Department. So therefore, the service rules, as you are all aware, these are normal rules which need to be service rules which need to be cleared by the cabinet, so that different aspects of promotion and different aspects of service are clear. So based on that, all departments have been instructed to do that, and accordingly the Meghalaya Border Areas Development Service Amendment Rule 2025 was approved by the cabinet today. The second item was a proposal for introduction of community integrated skill learning as a structured curricular component for class 6 to class 10. As you're aware that there is a component for physical and health education as one of the components as a 6th subject in the curriculum for class 6 and class 10, and that particular curriculum is very much restricted to different books and different information regarding health and physical activities and so on and so forth. Today we have decided in the cabinet that in that particular subject we will introduce a component of community integrated skill learning. This is a very innovative proposal that has come from the education department, where what we intend to do is we intend to put 50% of the marks for the student in that particular subject, in this case the health and physical education section, where the student will be asked to connect with one skill or multiple skills that he or she would like to do. And that could be a skill that is being done from their family perspective point of view, maybe one of their parents, say suppose the mother is into baking and has a bakery, then the son or the daughter would be, who's a student, would be encouraged to then learn that from their mother. Maybe the father is a blacksmith or a farmer, then the child would be asked to develop and learn that skill as a farmer, learn that skill as a blacksmith, so on and so forth. And this, of course, has got multiple aspects to it. Number one, the child will actually end up learning a skill that is going to be of a productive use in the future. Number two, it will also ensure that there is a continuity in terms of the occupation of that particular family. It's not necessary the child has to follow the same profession, but at least the chance of continuity is going to be higher. So sometimes we see that the children stay away from the family kind of business or family activities, and this would ensure that at least the option of desiring to continue would be promoted by introducing this particular aspect. And third aspect is the whole aspect of the social impact within families. So you will see children talking to their parents and telling them, well, can you teach me baking? Because that's part of the marks that I'm supposed to get in my subject. And if I don't do that, then I will lose out the 50%. So it will also encourage a good, positive, coordination within the family members, and it'll have a good social impact also. So all of these things were thought through, and we have decided that we will introduce this, the community integrated skill learning section in the structured curricular component for class 6 to class 10. Everything is an expenditure, but if you ask me, this is an investment. So therefore, you can look at it from any other point of view. I've seen that criticism is always there. I think it's important for us to see the larger goal and larger perspective. The fact, as I said today, that sitting here, all departments will talk to each other and understand what's happening, the larger goal and perspective, I think is really the main outcome. Let me share with you one very, very important outcome, and then you can be the judge to tell me whether this is a waste or this is actually productive. So in the first cabinet retreat we had in Sora, the education department gave us a long presentation on ad hoc schools and ad hoc teachers and SSC teachers, including the fact that we're spending close to about 1100 crores on grant in aid, including the fact that government of Meghalaya is one of the few states in the country that supports private schools. In fact, we have about 4,000 private institutes who we support, whereas any other state in the Northeast, the numbers are either 0 or even less than 50. So we are really supporting private schools. But yet the problems are there in terms of the large number of schools we have, the teacher-student ratios being very, very skewed. So this presentation was given to us in the cabinet retreat when we sat there. And we sat there and looked at those numbers. Every single cabinet minister, every single officer is looking at this saying that this is amazing. I mean, how can we be functioning like this? And we took a decision at that moment. We said, we are going to resolve this in this year 2025. We have to take this decision. And we took that decision, and that's what drove us to decide before Christmas that before this calendar year ends, I want the solution. I pushed the education minister, pushed the commissioner secretary. They met these SSC teachers, ad hoc teachers multiple times. And we said, we're working on a deadline out here. We need to get this done. CM has given us a direction. The cabinet has given us a direction. The cabinet retreat has decided. And we're so happy to tell you that we have reached to that conclusion. So now if that cabinet retreat had not taken place and we had not decided it then, maybe we would be still struggling with this issue in front of us. So that's how things work. And therefore, I leave it to you to decide whether these kind of things are important or not. And I'm sure that as the more you listen to the discussions that happen there, you'll realize, and you can take the feedback from officials, that there's some things. I wish I could put it live on Facebook. People would really see what's happening. And we shared some numbers today regarding presentation of how file movements have reduced. So a lot of people don't understand. I'll just give an example to you that, when files are moved. So what happens, I'll just give you an example of my CM Special Development Fund. When I took over, there were roughly about I may be wrong by a few numbers here and there, but about 15 to 20 people through which the CMSDF scheme, once I approve, had to go through to be sanctioned and the check to be released to the beneficiary. That process used to take anything between 1 year to 2 years to complete. I reformed the whole thing myself and I said there's no need to do this. Budget has been given, and hence from Chief Minister's office it goes to the secretariat. My same secretariat. They process it and check goes straight to DC. With that reform, today a SDF scheme can be sanctioned in 24 hours. That's the difference that we made. Now, we were just looking at the presentation and we showed to every department, we showed them that most of the departments even today, there are about average of about 15 to 20 people through which the file has to move through. Though the file movement has today reduced from 15 days to 10 days to 15 days on average today to less than 2.7 days for one file to be cleared on average. So we clear about close to, I was looking at it, about 80,000 files. Last year we cleared 80,000 files. And all these 80,000 files, average clearing time was 2.7 days. Earlier it used to be 10 days plus. And this reform has taken place because we have now been able to introduce technology and everybody's on e-proposals and the projects move on time. Now, how do we ensure that this reduces from 2.7 to below 1? And that can be done by ensuring that each department works towards removing the individuals who need not be part of the process. For example, Government of India, only 5 to 6 people see the file before it's approved. So 5 officials go through it. So in our system also, where it's necessary, of course, we have to, but wherever it can be removed, it should be removed. I'm just giving you one small example of one presentation I just saw just now. Now, this is going to help every department understand that for the benefit of the people and to ensure that the government works efficiently, the number of tables and the number of people involved in file clearance needs to be rationalized and needs to be made efficient. This is the outcome of cabinet retreat that we're seeing today. I'll leave it to you to decide whether that's good or that's bad, or whether it's waste of money, or whether we're trying to actually achieve better efficiency and better governance for the people. So cabinet retreat that we are having. And in this cabinet retreat, what we do is that we have all the departments, the officials and directors of all the departments present. We have all the BDOs present, and we have all, obviously, the cabinet ministers and senior officials who are present out here. Every cabinet retreat has got a different theme to it, but the general objective of the cabinet retreat is that while every official or minister is involved in his or her duties, it is important to align with the larger vision of the state government and to understand what every other department is doing. For example, PHE department needs to know and be aware of what are the development programs that are taking place in water resources, in soil and water conservation, in a mining department, in forest department, because it is aligned with water. Similarly, education department needs to also understand what sports and youth affairs is doing, because they are related with youth. The health department needs to also understand what CNRD is doing, because it has to do with women and women empowerment and with the health of the women. So therefore, all of these are connected. Until the departments are not talking to each other, or at least understanding what is the larger objective and mission of the government, then somewhere along the line, we are missing out on the opportunities that we could have if we were to understand what the larger goals and activities of different departments are. So that's the larger perspective. In this cabinet retreat, what we have done though, is that we are aligning people's vision with the 10 commitments and the 10 opportunities that we have laid down in our Vision 2028 and Vision 2032. We're trying to explain to people that while we are achieving or working towards the $10 billion economy and $16 billion in 2032, how does tourism play a role? How does road department and PWD department play a role? And while we're doing all of this, our 10 commitments to ensure that there is housing for all, there is a caring economy, there is a proper service delivery mechanism. How do we ensure that these commitments that we have laid are also achieved while we move towards an economic agenda of achieving a $10 billion economy? So it is important for block officers, important for directors, important for ministers to understand what each department is doing. So for 2 days, we're going to be sharing the knowledge, the information, the schemes, the programs of every department. And the most important part is that the officials are free to ask any question. The officials are free to give any suggestions. It's like an open, access medium where officials can give ideas, because sometimes the best ideas come from the grassroots. So we are sitting here and we might not understand, but the block officer who's going through day-to-day activities at the grassroots knows better that maybe if we can just change the mechanism of how we are doing the work by just changing one particular rule, can actually change the entire functioning of the department and the delivery of the services. So I think this is what we try to do. We of course unofficially call it Team Meghalaya, and we feel that Team Meghalaya should meet once in a while, talk to each other, discuss the problems of the state, align our visions, align our goals, and see how different departments can work together to achieve the larger purpose of taking the state forward and giving better services to the people of our state.
In which the government, it takes the idea.
They'll say, well, you know what, sir, that's great. But then we have seen that tourists normally suffer because they don't have a guide who can guide them at the grassroots level. And so suddenly we are doing all of these things, and a BDO will be able to, who's at the grassroots level, who meets people day-to-day basis, tells me that there's an opportunity in this where we can provide jobs, things. So can the government give a training and have a special scheme for this? I'm just giving an example what we're doing. We are, in fact, if you recall, that every time the Supreme Court or the High Court has given us an opportunity to review, we have reviewed. And if you remember last time, because there's a subject I don't have the knowledge, I'm just asking me, so I'm giving you whatever I can remember, that roughly about close to, in the first assessment, close to about 140 teachers were reinstated back. So the court gave us that order, gave us that option, and we went in and looked in, and we have said that we found 140 of them to be not really involved in these aspects, and we gave the suggestion, and based on that they were reinstated. Again, in the second phase, the High Court or the Supreme Court, I can't remember, had asked us again to look into another aspect. We looked into it, and again in that also about 4-5. So this was done by the Chief Secretary level, and the court gives us that order. So similarly now also in this particular case, we are asking the Supreme Court or High Court to give us a mandate and give us a clearance if we can review this again, and we would be very happy to review. If there are genuine cases and people who have been affected in a way that is not correct, then obviously we'd like to review that. So, but since it is a subject that has got different aspects of law and case and different issues that are still involved, we cannot take a decision just on our own level. So, so we'll have to wait. But we are in touch with the teachers. They have met me a couple of times. In fact, they regularly meet me, and we are trying to work out on how we can move forward. I have asked Chief Secretary already to examine the options. He is working on it and seeing how we can move forward in this. Okay.